Hello, everyone. We're back.
Hi.
I am doing portrait mode this week actually because it's
Oh.
really good for everybody that's on their phones. They can
See us better?
better.
Okay,
So
great.
that's why we look a little narrow.
Okay.
But we're close anyway. Hey there, everyone. I am Francesca. I have 17 years experience working in the event industry, and this is my co-host, Kim Levitt, a 37-year veteran and the founder of the greatest floral design and event planning company in New Jersey. Together, we are your dynamic duo for Marquee Florals, event design in New Jersey, where we do florals and event decor in a really big way. So we're actually starting. I usually like to start with some hot topics.
Yeah.
And I actually like not telling you about my topics because then I can get a feel for
Okay.
your thoughts.
All right.
So there was a really amazing article that came out recently, and it was about the top 10 venues in all of America.
Wow.
And
how do they tell that?
So it was based on a couple of different. They had scored them based on the number of reviews. There was like 5 different things criteria. So what I found so interesting is that 4 in the top 20. There was 3 places in New Jersey that were in the top 10, and then there was a 4th
in the top 10. There was 3
in the top 10. There were 3
in
New Jersey, and then there was a 4th that was in the top 20. So
that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. The way that we celebrate in the tri-state area.
Oh, it's bigger than any other place in the country. I mean, well, listen, wherever it's New York, New Jersey, Florida, California. I think Chicago does, Southern California, not Northern California. We do weddings in a different way. I think that they're bigger cocktail hours, bigger. I think where, I don't know, does this sound terrible? But where there's Italians and Jews, I think that we do bigger events.
Yeah.
And more food and just a little bit different of a genre. So I wouldn't like Florida. It's people that were in New York and New Jersey that moved to Florida. So I call Florida Boca Raton, Miami. That's to me Jersey South.
Yeah.
So and then California as well. It's kind of like Hollywoodish and, all of that. So go ahead, tell me what you've got here.
But so number 1 was in New Jersey. The number 1 in America venue.
I can't believe it. It's fantastic.
Was in New Jersey. We'll just talk about the states for now because there's so many incredible venues that we go to that I think that there's so much to say about the venues here.
Exactly. So we don't want to say names, but congratulations to them if you know who you are. Right.
So New Jersey was number 1, and then Massachusetts made number 2, a venue there. Then there was a venue in Maryland that made number 3. Number 4 was another venue in New Jersey.
I've never heard of that venue. Did you?
No.
I never heard of that venue either. Okay.
I actually, without saying names, I've heard of some of these places that are out of state. And I was very shocked that they made the list.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Number 5 was in Pennsylvania. Number 6, Wisconsin. Number 7, Minnesota. And then it goes down the list: Missouri, New Jersey again, Pennsylvania again, New Jersey again. So
it's great.
So many in the tri-state area. I just found that to be so interesting.
We are wedding big here.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've gone to. I know you've gone to affairs in other states, as have I. And
very different.
So different.
So different.
It's like a kind of like a culture shock for a lot of people that live around here to go to a wedding in another area, especially within the U.S., because you don't feel like you've traveled too far, and yet there's a lot of things that are very different.
Way different. My nephew was married in Missouri, and it was a lovely wedding. But we got there, and it was no music. It was cake cutting right from the very beginning.
Oh, wow. That's really different.
It was different. Cake cutting from the beginning. Then they served the dinner. No, cake cutting, dances, and then they served the dinner. No music, no DJ, no anything.
Oh, wow.
And then the DJ came on after the dinner. It was definitely different. And then a lot of people left. And it was kind of like the family and very close friends were left there to dance and do whatever to the end of the party. So it was definitely a little bit different. I've been to military weddings.
Oh, that's cool.
On some military bases. Well, it was with a bunch of pilots, and they were crazy, and they were doing carrier landings on the tables by the end of the party.
That's
a
cool.
bunch of crazy. It was like a Top Gun kind of a party.
Yeah.
It was fun. But they did again a buffet, no music, and then once everybody ate, then the music came on and did all the things. So it was definitely different. It was different. But you know what? To me, they're all beautiful, no matter which way you do it. And it's about really. I think sometimes we lose sight of it. It's about this union of two people that are in love with each other and going to spend the rest of their lives together. Right. I think sometimes we get very hung up on all the other stuff that at the end of the day is, well, listen, it's important, but it's not that important.
So, just thought that was interesting. We're doing another topic this week, of course. The topic for today is going to be decorating the reception.
Correct.
What that looks like, what your thoughts are. Why don't you start with telling us a little bit about how you start with a client when they come in and they want to, let's say they don't know what they want or like.
I think that one of the most, I like to know what they like, and I want to know their colors, and we get a basic idea of, I always like to have, them tell me the overall look or feeling of the wedding. But I think color is definitely number one. And it sounds maybe a little crazy, but if they love greenery or they don't like greenery, because that makes sense. That's a very big design issue of floral design. And then we sit down with the appointment, and we originally, we start with all the personal flowers and we get that color palette going. And so we talked about that already, and we talked about ceremony already, so we get that doing. And we talked about using table centerpieces in ceremony. So basically, when you're walking into this reception, every place is a little bit different. But you walk in, you want to see something, you're going to see your escort card table is going to be the first thing. So either, escort boards are so popular right now. So do some kind of an installation of a board with some flower arrangements, or go traditional with the table that's there, and then doing a beautiful floral centerpiece on that table. I always like to try to do it a little bit different than the ballroom tables, because it's a presentation piece. It's a walk in, and to me, it's supposed to be a conversation, right? It should be a conversation piece of wow, look at this candle, so the different elements. And then you can do people do all kinds of place cards. They do things with corks, and if you're having it at a winery, and they'll do just regular fold over place cards. We're doing a beautiful place card this weekend. That's going to be a black envelope with a little black card inside. Very, very pretty. I've done so many candy. I've done a zillion different kinds of things. They'll do the walls now with the champagne, and then so there's so many different ways to do escort boards. You go on Pinterest, you go blind with all the things. Back in the day, it was place card on a table and that was it. But now there's so many creative, wonderful ways to get the first excitement of the party for your guest. And I think that that's part of the reception. I think that by constantly doing something a little bit different every 45 minutes during the party, it makes people want to stay. Like, what's going to be next? This is a little bit different. So definitely your escort board makes a big statement. And here we do all different kind of ones. Oh my God, you can bring us a picture, we can make anything. So it's great. And then you go to cocktail. And every cocktail space is a little bit different at every catering place. So some of them have a candle on the table, or they'll have some little, silk floral arrangement. We have 3 venues that, are owned by a company, and they have fresh flowers on their cocktail tables weekly. So it's already included. So when you go to the venue, find out what's going to be on the cocktail tables. I think that if you have working in a certain budget, I think that you really don't need to do too much on cocktail. If you have the budget and you want to make it a little fancier, then I say, hey, it'll look great. But I think that people go to cocktail, your guests come to cocktail, and they want to eat, they want to drink, they want to schmooze, and the tables are small. They got to put their drinks down, their plate. The ladies have to put their purses. So there's not a lot of space to work in there. So I think almost less is more in cocktail, and you're only there for an hour. Exactly. So if your budget can handle it, doing a beautiful floating flower looks great, or some kind of a candle piece. I think it looks great. But I don't know. I think that if it's not in the budget, it's perfectly okay not to have anything because you've got all this stuff going on. Bar signs are very popular now, doing signature drinks and having signs on the bar. Welcome signs are the biggest deal.
They're huge right now.
Huge.
And being done in so many different ways.
Correctly. Just like that escort board. So sometimes they'll combine the escort, the seating chart board with the welcome sign.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be two different things. We did a few weeks ago, we did a big mirror, a 6 foot, 7 foot mirror that had, everything written in white and clear. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we had a mirror that was a smaller version that was the welcome sign when you walked into the room. So it was like two matching pieces, right? Yeah. And then trying to think, you have the welcome sign, you've got your bar signs, you've got, sometimes people are doing signs before they go into ceremony to say, turn your phones off and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I think in the front of the party, I mean, those are the most important things. People want to come in, they want to eat, they want to drink, they want to mingle and talk with people they haven't seen in a while. So I think that first hour, I don't know, could you add to anything to that of what else is in cocktail?
I agree. I think that a lot of your decisions are based on how much money you are putting towards your flowers or your decor.
Correct.
And when you have we all have a budget, I always say, you as well, that it makes the most sense to put more money into the place where you're going to spend most of your time than in the cocktail. I mean, cocktail looks great with bud vases. I think they look absolutely beautiful decorating the room. But if you have to choose, it makes sense to
put it on the table.
Put it on the table.
Without a doubt.
So
without a doubt.
That's something that we don't shy away from, is really saying where you'll get the most bang for your buck.
I'll always tell you.
Yeah.
Where we're very honest. We're very honest. I mean, and I think that's why we're busy, is because I'll only tell the client the truth. I mean, it's better to be honest with them. Listen, I could try to sell them every single thing that is available in every category, right? But the client's not going to be receptive to that.
Right.
Yes, some clients I do. Kim, what's next? What do we have? I need more. I need more. And that's great. And we're there to give them that. But I think that there's a balance, and I think that you've got to put your money in the right spots. And in the reception is probably the most important spot. And in the main dining room is the most important, right?
Yes.
So we're going into the main dining room. So there's the bar. They can move the bar signs from the cocktail space into the signature drink signs and stuff into the bar.
No reason to have double.
No, you definitely don't need double. And now it's about the table design. So I really think that having a pretty presentation on the table is important. And the way that you walk into a room I think gives the first impression, right? So when you walk into a room and you have tables tall, you're walking in. Visually, flowers are all eye level. You're getting an impression of, wow, this is luxe. This is, really pretty. I like this. But sometimes, the talls are great. And we have different kinds of stands that are available. There's metal ones, and there's silver, gold, there's glass, all different kinds of things. So when you decide what you're doing with your flowers, there's definitely different
ways to differentiate aside from just the flowers.
Right. So, and if you're going to do metals compared to glass, it's a different look. So that'll get all designed. We usually we pick the vase or the stands, we do the flowers, that. And then what's really, I think, and it's enough on the table if you do that, right? But if you want to enhance layers mean a lot. When you're doing layers on your table, what I mean by that is like just doing detailing.
Yeah.
So
the details really make a statement.
Correct. So when you come to the table and most caterers don't do chargers right now. There's a few caterers that are doing chargers, but not really. But doing a charger on your table.
Really pops.
It's a rental. There's expensive ones. There's least expensive ones. I think that as long as you get the look that you want, you don't have to spend the most expensive on a charger. But having that look of having that extra silver or gold plate on the table, and then the way the napkin is folded is super important.
Yep.
That, that to me is gorgeous. Doing a menu, so beautiful.
Yeah.
People, the music's blaring and the waiters and waitresses are coming to the table and they want to know what your selection is. And is it meat or chicken or fish? and they're like yelling. Mm-hmm. Do you want chicken? Do you want steak? So if the menu is there, you can say, I'll take this. And it's, it's a little more civilized.
Yeah.
But it's nice. People want to know what's coming and what they're going to eat and all of that stuff.
And it adds so much to the decor.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a little bit of zhuzh makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And doing with your table centerpieces, yes, a tall centerpiece or a low centerpiece on a table looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Add candles to the table.
Yeah.
It brings in ambiance. All of those little lights reflect in all of the little details, and it reflects in all of the glasses on the table. So now the table's looking real sparkly, and so it's inviting.
Yeah.
And I really feel that when you have these details, it makes the food taste better. It makes you want to sit down. It's
more memorable.
It's right, and there's like little things to look at.
Yeah.
So I think subconscious, you feel a certain way. I don't think that you'd say, oh. Feel it immediately. You'll feel it immediately, but you won't realize immediately what's making me feel that this table is so warm and inviting.
Right.
But it's all the details. Sometimes people will take the napkins and tie them with a beautiful bow, or even when you do the napkin with the menu and you put a little flower next to it, it makes it, I think, a little more special.
Right.
And then table numbers. All the caterers have table numbers on their tables. They need it for the wait staff, but see what the table number is. I mean, some venues have not such nice numbers, and then other venues have, pretty frames or whatever. So see what they have. So when you go in, I mean, if you're coming to a catering hall that we go to, we know what all of them are. But I think most of the time you could use what they have. If they're unsightly, then we'll make a table number.
Right. Exactly.
I also love when they do the room, we do the room in half high and half low, right? So sometimes all tall centerpieces can be a little cost prohibitive. And I like when we're doing half of them tall, half of them low on the table, two different styles.
I love the dimension it gives to the room too.
Yes. So you have this high-low thing, I think, going on. And taper candles are very big right now.
Yes.
So you've got the votives low. I'm going with the wrong thing. You got low votives, and then you also have the tall tapers.
Yes, tall, skinny.
And that's adding an element, right? So on the bottom of that centerpiece, you've got tapers, you've got votives. Sometimes we do little floral arrangements around. So you're building, right? And that's, I think, bringing the luxury to a table when you're building upon something. So if you want like a very luxurious table, those are the little details that you need to build upon. And that make the difference. Yes, it's going to cost an extra few bucks, but it does make an overall big difference.
Right.
Then we've got to talk about, low centerpieces are gorgeous. So sometimes the room has a low ceiling, right? Yeah. And it's a small, intimate kind of a space, and it really can't handle tall centerpieces.
Right.
I mean, we do venues, the ceilings are 18, 20 feet tall. You need some damn tall centerpieces in there. They don't have to be all tall, but you got to have some.
Yeah.
But then there's smaller rooms in some of the kind of old hotels and a smaller space. Doing low centerpieces on the table with taper candles coming up, gorgeous, elegant. It makes, I think, just a different statement than doing big tall ones. Big tall ones are it's like that wow factor, right? This is like elegant, low key sophistication. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. I think that whatever you decide you want the look to be in the room, whether it's low impact, sophistication, classic, right? You're not going to look at your pictures 20 years from now and say, holy hell, what did I do?
Right.
Or you want to do something outrageous and really wild and crazy, anything can be achieved.
There's so many different styles.
So, I mean, we can go on and on.
Yep. I mean, so candles, like you said, vases, vases, flowers. I mean, every single element to that reception has a multitude of different options within itself that spiderwebs into all these different things that you could do.
And then sometimes it's overwhelming for some girls to think about all these things. Yeah. Right. So we want to just keep simple, classic, floral arrangement, tablecloths and linens from the venue, couple candles, they're done.
Yep.
But there are other options, beautiful table overlays. So you take the caterer's bottom cloth and that they're giving you, this is a big, in Jersey, this doesn't really happen so much, but make sure your tablecloths are to the floor.
Yes.
No table legs sticking out.
No.
I go into a room and I see table legs, I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
And so, no. You got to have linens to the floor, no matter what. But we do beautiful table overlays, things that are sparkly or bring out the silver, the gold. And when you sit down, that also has another layer of, I think, of opulence. You know, it's pretty.
Absolutely.
What else have we done on table? Oh, we sometimes change out glasses.
Oh,
we put a colored glass.
I love that.
I know.
A colored goblet is my favorite thing right now.
It really is a great, it's so a great look.
It's such a pop of color, and
those taper candles in color.
Yes.
Right? So we're doing a pink glass and a pink taper candle.
Oh, yeah.
On an all white linen. It's gorgeous.
Love,
it's
love,
pretty.
love.
But all of this costs money. So sometimes it doesn't fit in the budget. I mean, we can go on and spend $1 zillion, right? Just while we're talking here. But these are just little different ideas. So that you can do to the reception, right? Now, the big thing is, let's move on to sweetheart table. So sweetheart tables are the bomb. Talk about those a little, Fran.
So there's so many things you could do. I find that you either have a bride that wants their table to be very balanced and across and down the legs, or you have a bride that wants their table to be very asymmetrical. Maybe that's with linens that are draped and then put on the other side, or having something in the left corner, but then maybe the bottom of the foot of the table on the right side. So whether you like a balanced look or you like an asymmetrical look, that's two very different ways to do it. But we've done it with silk flowers, fresh flowers, candles, fabric, repurposing from the ceremony.
Right. Or just even using the bridal bouquet.
And
the bridesmaids.
Exactly.
So if it doesn't fit into the budget to do like a whole big piece, we'll take the bridal.
We talk so much with our hands. Oh my God.
The bridal, it's the Italian, we can't have it. The bridal bouquets going across the table.
Yeah.
Double duty.
Right.
And if you are going to get a piece for your sweetheart table, then we'll take those and put them around the cake table.
Right. Exactly.
Doing specialty chairs is a big thing. Doing kind of throne chairs, doing mirrored tables, lucite clear tables,
flatware, changing out the flatware. It's an expense.
It's an expense. We're changing flatware out. We've done it a few times in the past month.
Yeah, we've been doing it often.
Venues don't have gold flatware. Hardly, I don't know any that do. But so we're renting gold flatware and putting that on the table. I think all metallics go together. So whether you've got silver, gold, a rose gold, all of those go together to me at the end of the day.
I totally agree.
It's like jewelry, right?
Even the venues themselves mix them within the decor of the room.
I mean, listen, flatware is silver. Yeah. I mean, but some people they don't want it. They want the gold. So, but we definitely do it and it looks great. We just got a new pattern of gold that we have our own.
I'm really excited about that.
Which is good. We just got it. What else is going in that room? Oh, photo booths and photo walls.
Backdrops and photo walls.
We just did a great one. We didn't do it. I saw it. A client brought it in. The new thing is this magazine cover.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Like a 3D type.
It's a 3D box that you walk into. So it's like a frame, and then it's got a clear front, and it has all the wording on it. So this bride had, they were African American, so they did Essence magazine. So it was great. And then they had things about the bride and groom, just like a personalized magazine cover. But it was clear, right? So then they got in the box, and then people were able to take pictures with all their info and stuff around it. So that was really cool. That's, I think, the hottest new trend that's coming. Flower walls, always. Neon signs on a flower wall. I like the neon sign. You could always stick that in a family room or whatever after the party. I love that you could reuse it. But you know what I will say? I don't love that it reflects in the photos. Oh, it does. It does. A lot of the photos, you see like a weird reflection. So for that reason, you don't care for that. I don't care for it. What else are we doing? Flower walls. We're doing these new aluminum, more for bar and bat mitzvahs, like these aluminum foil walls. Oh, the mylar walls. The mylar walls. So there's always, listen, we could add furniture and we could create a scene. And you know what I was telling Fran last week is that something new for a ballroom is that I want to take a little bit from an Indian wedding where the bride and the groom sit on a beautiful sofa with a table in front of them, and they sit there, they watch people dance, or, during father-daughter dances, mother-son dances, and they can sit. So it's more of like this relaxed kind of casual. And so Indian weddings do that. And I said to Fran, I would love to do that for a non-Indian wedding and get a beautiful sofa and then do flowers that wrap around the top of it down to the floor. There's like so many new things to do. So Fran and I are going back and forth whether or not I want to invest in a sofa or not.
What started a while ago as just a background photo, a sheet, a blown up photo. I mean, now we're creating scenes for these backdrops, which are so fun.
Yep. So and it's a focal point. You know what I mean? When you walk in the room, boom, you know, that's what you see. So I love that. I mean, I think that that might be a fun new way of sitting.
Yes.
And I love when we cross cultures.
Yeah.
Like, you know, taking a little bit from an Indian wedding and bringing it into an American style wedding or just all that stuff. I mean, I think it's fun. That's how you get ideas. And
take the beautiful out of everything.
Right. And put it into one thing. So, which is really, really cool. Other ballroom things. People are wrapping dance floors for the reception. That's huge. Right? Huge with the wrapping of the dance floors. You can start it with the gobo lights that reflected the bride and groom's name on the floor. That can go, a lot of DJs still offer that, and it's great, and it's not that expensive. And it can go on the dance floor. It can go on the wall. Looks cool on the wall.
Right.
But then, you know, wrapping a dance floor is really quite beautiful.
Yeah.
It's definitely expensive, but it looks phenomenal. I mean, you can make the dance floor look like a big open rose. You just don't have to do your names. I mean, you can do patterns. It's really a lot of fun.
The black and white tile look. I love that.
Yep. Yep. We did a disco party, we talked about it, a disco wedding, and we had the black and white and the balls, and it was cool.
So cool. I love it.
And then, what else, Fran?
Hanging centerpieces.
Oh, hanging centerpieces. The bomb.
Just so different. When it comes to having something that's unique and stands out, we've done so many different types of
we have the capabilities here.
And
That's the thing. Not all florists have the capabilities to do hanging centerpieces.
Right.
But we have, and draping ceilings. I mean, that's another big thing in a ballroom. Right. We can go on and on.
Here, I know. This could be an hour and a half
I know. Draping ceilings. But at some of the venues, it depends on the ceiling that the venue has. If there's a drop ceiling and we can get in there, we hang centerpieces above the tables. People go berserk for that. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But now there's even we're even doing a centerpiece that has a hook. I'm sure you've seen this on Instagram. In Tuscany, you're seeing it a lot. It's like a big hook that comes up over the table, and then the centerpiece hangs. That's pretty. Oh, and you know what the newest trend is, and I really can't wait to do a party like this, is doing like the caterpillar tables.
Yes.
Where the tables
serpentine?
It's like round tables that are all touching each other and that are like swirling around.
Yes.
And it's really cool looking.
Yes.
It's very, very cool. And I've done a party like that once or twice in my career, but now I'm seeing it coming back again on Pinterest. Listen, everything comes around, right? Straight dresses, big dresses, you know.
Styles are
constantly changing, but everything comes around, right? Because there's only so many things, and it's got to zip around.
Right, absolutely.
But I'm liking that. Upgraded table linens are great. We always have them here. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, we touched on a lot. I think something to take away from today's conversation is the fact that we do a lot of different things here.
We do,
and most people don't know that. A lot of clients will come in and they don't realize we do all of these different things in terms of place cards and boards and installations and, you know, ceiling work. And so we really are, being an event company, we really do expand into all the different elements of decorating that celebration. I
think the only thing that we really have not voyaged into were invitations.
Yes.
It's a completely different business. It would be a division of this business to be into invitations. But we have amazing people that we recommend for invites. And, you know, that if you want something truly special and a little bit different and don't have it takes you have to be careful with an invitation. The way that you word it, all this stuff has, so if you need a professional, we have professionals to help you with that.
Absolutely.
And they're, local to us and whatever. People do a lot of invites now on the internet, and, you could.
What's your take on that?
I'm just a spoiled brat. So, I like personalized service. I like things to be custom. I mean, I think for a bridal a bridal shower, they're great.
Yeah,
they're fine.
And we're talking about just to be clear, the QR code.
Oh no, I'm talking about an invitation itself. Okay. Then we're talking about digital. You're talking about digital.
Yes.
I don't know. There's something about getting an envelope in the mail with your name written on it beautifully, and feeling the paper and opening it up, and it's lovely. Yeah. Lots of times people forget to mail the little, response cards. So yeah, I like your QR code for that. So you can go on, you go to the QR. Like, is my mother 83 years old going to know what that QR code is?
Well, she's on TikTok every day. She might know.
I don't know if she'll know.
But for the most part, I don't think everybody would know.
Mama Lucy is on TikTok all the time. But it depends on who your audience is. Yeah, I really think that has part of it. But then, so that's like so you get the invitation, you feel it, you touch it, you put it on your refrigerator, and it looks great. And then you could respond with your little envelope, or you can QR code. But I like about the QR code is you go on and it has the hotel, the directions, all the information is there. It's great. As far as like a digital invitation sending out, became popular during COVID. It's not for me.
I'll say it too. It's not for me either. I like a hard copy of an invitation.
We're old school. I mean, I like luxury, and I feel like when you feel something, and even an invitation, do a digital before you send out an invitation that the paper feels like crap.
Yeah.
Then don't do it. If you're not going to spend money, and I don't mean $1 zillion on an invitation, but I think that when you pick up the paper, you don't want it to feel like this, like a piece of computer paper. No, it's got to feel a little thick, and it's got to feel like, oh, I want to go to this wedding. Look at this invite.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It tells you.
It tells a lot. It says a lot about it. As far as shower invitations, get them online. It's fine, and even you could even do digitals for those. It's fine. But I think for a formal affair, I'm old school.
I agree.
I just feel like, I don't know. I think that when you go someplace, you should dress up.
Yeah.
You go out of the house. I'm old fashioned. You wear makeup. You don't wear your pajamas out of the house. Yeah. I mean, I like things a certain way, but I think that you're sending it to your audience, and you have to send the thing that matches the people.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah. Well, for our story time to close out.
I don't know if I have one today. You have one. Oh, you didn't ask me today.
I have a prompt for you.
Oh, okay.
Because we're talking about receptions, back in the day, things were done a lot differently. And I know for a fact you've blown out the Grand Marquis in terms of the things that you've done. I want you to tell us and our audience.
Oh, you're tricking me today. You didn't let me prepare.
I know. I like it though. It's more authentic. But I want you to tell us about because there's more than one of the most memorable parties that you've done. For example, the Universal party with the Universal globe. I mean, that's a crazy story in itself, but just what stands out? There's so many, but reception wise.
Well, then I'm going to talk about a bar mitzvah, not a wedding.
That's okay.
I think that, no, I can't talk about a bar mitzvah. It's a different thing. I think a wedding, I think that having heartfelt things at a party, I mean, during COVID, we did the most beautiful events. They were small, intimate, and people got to speak to each other and say to each other things that they normally would not have said if there's like 250 people in a room. I like when you're going full immersive into a party, and I know that when I did my daughter's wedding, I want to talk about my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
So the groom is my wonderful son-in-law is from Wales. And so I wanted to bring some of his Welsh into the party. I thought it was important. I mean, he was having just a handful. His parents were coming and his sisters and brothers. And, but I wanted to bring his ethnicity and his culture into what we were doing, right? So we did the bridal shower as a tea party. Right. So that was kind of fun. But then for the wedding, you know, a harp is a very, I think, Welsh instrument. The Welsh voices are really their biggest instruments. Welshmen have amazing voices, singing voices. So what we did for the cocktail, so people walked into cocktail. We had a violinist in the lobby. It was like, people were like, wow, look at this. We had live, I had a girl from Juilliard, was amazing, playing the violin. We had a good place card set up. It was nice. We had drinks going all around the lobby. Then they walked into the room, and we had built we had the cold food buffet in this big circle. And in the middle, we had this big tower, and we put the harpist all the way on top, and she was playing over the room. So when people walked in, they were like, oh my God, there's a harpist on the hors d'oeuvre table. I mean, this is like crazy. But people were like mesmerized from it. And it left like, it was a conversation. And I think that that's what's important about a party, is constantly having a conversation, right? So we had all this great food, and it was beautiful, and people saw food that they never really kind of saw before. I did a lot of investigation in the city and went to some different restaurants, and we tried to pull out some different kind of stations and whatever. And then when they walked into the dining room, it was just, we draped the walls, and we draped the ceiling, and we had this band that was fantastic, and the band changed their clothes throughout the reception. They did 2 or 3 times of a clothes change, and the girls came out in like dream girl outfits, and then they came out in like, you know, it was just really, really fun. And we did different things. So instead of sitting, am I talking too much?
No, I love it.
Instead of sitting just the bride and the groom on the sweetheart table, right? My son-in-law really didn't ask me for much. And I said to him, so what else are you thinking? Is there something that you want? And he goes, oh, yeah. He says, I said, well, you and Tara are going to sit here at this. Oh, no. I said, what do you mean, no? I said, you want to sit like at a regular round table with your friends, or a big dais? Nobody does that anymore. And he's like, no, I want to sit with the parents. And I was horrified. I was like, what? And he said, yeah, I want to sit. It's Welsh tradition that Tara and I sit with my parents and then Tara's parents. And the 6 of us are at a table, like a little thing. And I was like, oh, why is this happening to me? I don't want to be on display. Like, this is your wedding. This is not, you know, my spot. So he said, no. This is the way we do it. My parents are going to, you know, my father's going to want to have that. It'll be weird for him if he doesn't sit with us, you know. So what am I going to say to this kid who asked me for nothing? I'm like, okay, we'll do it. But you know what? At the end of the day, it was really nice. It was the best. Yeah. People were coming up to us and saying how amazing that it was that we sat as a family, and that it wasn't just the bride and the groom. It was us together as a family. And I wasn't expecting that reaction, but we got it, you know. And then we did go home stuff, and it was just really fun. But I think that adding layers to the party and having things changed up and that kind of thing is what makes an event memorable to people.
I love that story.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a beautiful wedding.
But like all of them, we do a great job here.
Yeah, I think because we care, and that is a very big deal. Yeah, when it's just not coming for you to buy something here. It's about us buying into your vision. You're buying from us, but we're buying into you, and we're buying into your event and what you want it, the outcome to be. Right. And we're listening, and we love our clients. And if you allow us, we will, you know, create something memorable. And it doesn't always have to do with money. It has to do with the experience and the experience. Yes. And the experience you're having with us. Yes. And that's so important. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, that just about wraps it up for today's show. I think so. But thank you so much for joining us. Please so much. Follow our team on social media, Marquee Florals Events, and share this with your friends and family in need of our event expertise, or just a friend that you think would get a kick out of the show. Yeah, definitely. We will see you next time on